then- Hello, how's it going, everyone?
Hello, hello.
Hello. Hey, Eustace.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Good. I'm Ivan. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Evan. Nice to hear.
Hello.
What's up? Hi, Lynn. I don't know if we had the pleasure of talking to you earlier, but thank you for making it here today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Um, just want to make sure.
Hi, Mohammed.
Before...
This is Chuck Barron.
Hey, Chuck, how's it going?
It's going good, thanks.
Alhamdulillah, I'm really, really happy you made it.
I appreciate it very much. Thanks for the opportunity.
My man, Tyler, what's happening, brother?
Can you hear me, Mohammed?
Joher, hey.
How are you?
All right.
I'm here.
Yeah, you made it. I love it. I love it.
But I'm still working. You see me?
We we do what we can, you know, and I appreciate everyone being here. I know it looks like Eustace is also working. Let's just start off by introducing ourselves, since not everyone might know of each other. We'll go ahead and say our name, what city or area we're from, and then we can say what brought us here today. So I can go ahead and get started, and we can do a little round robin. So hi, my name is Mohammed Raza. I'm a driver of 5 years from here in Southern California. So I'm in LA and Orange County. And what brought me here today was this folks like Ivan, who were able to get on these scheduled calls with me and brought me in as a volunteer like 4 years ago. So I'm glad I'm going to be able to have the opportunity to share this with you guys. But why don't we go next? I see Eustace is to my left. So Eustace, why don't you go next?
Hi, I'm Eustace Lewis. I drive up in Fresno. I've been driving for 8 years, and I'm here because I was invited to this call. And I want to support RDU as much as I could. And yeah, we need to do something to let Uber and Lyft know that we are not going to be standing up and taking what they're giving us without a fight. So that's why I'm here.
Hell yeah, love to hear it. Who wants to go next? On my screen, it's Lynn, so you can just jump in. But
Hi, I'm Lynn. I've been a driver for, well, according to the app, 2 years, but really only a year because I didn't drive regularly. And the reason I'm on here is I have noticed a decrease in the fares, or the portion that we're receiving. And when I do my spreadsheet, I see that I'm not making even minimum wage. So it's a little frustrating. And I wanted to, instead of just be a complainer, be a part of the solution and help. So thank you.
Nice. Nice. What city are you from, Lynn?
Oh, I'm sorry. I am in Oceanside, but I do San Diego.
Okay, cool.
oh, okay. Is your name in the system? Does it start with an H?
Yeah. So it's actually Herline, but I can't tell you how many times people have messed that up, and it's just easier. People just remember Lynn a lot easier than they do Herline. I get Harleen, Darlene, Charlene, all kind of extra letters.
It's nice to break it down into one syllable. People
Yes.
can't mess that up.
Right.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Chuck, would you like to go now?
Sure. My name is Chuck Brown. I'm in Orange County, California. Been driving for 6.5 years with Uber and Lyft. I have roughly 14,000 rides between both of them. I remember those great days when I was making $60,000 a year after paying the car expenses. Now it's terrible. Last year figure was less than $6 after paying $6,000 after paying the car expenses. I am not gonna put up with that anymore. I'm tired of it. When Muhammad reached out and Tyler, I decided to really commit myself and make my voice heard by these two companies. Enough is enough. Taking advantage of us is enough. They have taken more than 60% sometimes of the fare. It is enough. I want to do everything in my power to make sure that they never take more than 20%. And that's why I'm here.
Love it. Love it. That's the fire we need for our fight so that we can win. So we appreciate the fire you're bringing to the table, sir.
Thank you.
Tyler, would you like to go now?
Sure. My name is Tyler. I've been with Uber and Lyft for 10 years. This year, August, I have 35,000 plus rides. I'm in Southern California. I drive LA actually. I live in Paramount, but the business is out there, so you kind of have to go where it is. And I kind of concur with everyone. And I actually did get a chance to tell Uber to shove it. Yes, last night they called me. I thought it was a fraud call too, because you never get a call from Uber, let alone I was waiting for them to be like, hey, what's your email? Hey, what's your PIN code? But no, she wanted to know what's my opinion on the app. And I gave her, and she was like, okay, besides the pay and all that, I was like, I got shit to tell you, 'cause I don't drive for you guys that much anymore. I was like, I'll give you a call maybe tonight. She's like, okay, I'm gonna email you the link and you can let us know any improvements you'd like to see on the app. And I'm like, I mean, what, the app is fine, you know, it's just you guys keep cutting our fucking pay. And I let her have it, but they weren't looking for that. They were just looking for more. And as I mentioned to you, my numbers, they're just like, hey, and I was curious if anyone else got that call. Like, damn, I wonder if they reached out to me only or a bunch of other people, but I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that part of the app where they're taking 60%. If they could just make a little tweak to bump it down to like 15 or 20%,
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
exactly.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, Ivan, let's finish it off, and then we can go into the meat of the meeting tonight.
Cool. Yeah. My name is Ivan. I am a volunteer organizer with Rideshare Drivers United. I've been a part of RDU since 2017. And I'm here in Los Angeles.
And he is the
Awesome.
mastermind behind that little app we use to do our organizing work. So shout out to you for helping us creating such a thing that can help us, build this movement. So yeah. Just before I start sharing my screen, I just want to make sure everybody has the app downloaded. I know most of you have used the app already, so you should have it downloaded, but I'm not sure about Ms. Lynn. Ms. Lynn, did you get a text message to download the app?
I did. I downloaded it and I put in my availability.
Oh, amazing. Cool.
Amazing. Okay. So
You just stepped all the way to like step 8 in our PDF in our presentation. So love to hear that.
All right.
oh man, you're awesome. I love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys a little presentation that our operations director and some of our volunteers set up for us. It's gonna basically train us on what we're gonna be talking about, what these calls are, and what we're gonna be talking about on these calls. Please bear with me. I've been having a lot of internet issues, and I'm currently inside of a McDonald's. We do what we can, as I was saying
Yep.
earlier.
Where we can.
Yeah.
I
But,
can share if you want me to share it, I could do it too.
well, it's
You're good.
doing all right now.
Yeah,
So I think I might have skipped over Mr. Jover if he wants to introduce himself, if he has a second, but sorry about that. I'm so sorry.
Jawahar, are you there with us?
Okay. Well, he's probably busy with the delivery. He said he would be listening in. So
I'm here.
why don't we?
Hello. Can you
Oh,
hear
you're
me?
here. Yes,
Yeah, I'm
sir.
here.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So, yeah, my name is Jawahar. So I'm driving for Uber since 11 years. So I'm here to support all the driver because a lot of change since when I'm driving. So I'm with the Rideshare United since the pandemic. The last one it was with the Tyler and the Thurston and the LAX. I think it was 2 years or 3 years ago. The last one. So we should stand by and we union together to make a force. Without force, we can't make a change. So we must be together and we must overlift here from us and they make a change. Without union, we can't. Without union, we can't make a change. So that's it. I'm from California. I'm in Los Angeles. So, and one of the most beautiful unit was the last week. It was for me the best one, not the best, but one of the best one. And thank you for Muhammad for his job. What he making a good job because before I didn't see somebody doing this job, calling us, and he's patient with us, and he give his time for us and for the driver. Thank you, Muhammad, and all the stuff.
No, thank you, Zohar, for being such a great presence in our lives and helping us do this work. And sincerest thank you to everyone for being here today. I won't waste your time anymore, and we can move on to the meat of the meeting so that I can stop talking. But Ivan, I wanted you to take the next section. Why don't we go ahead and start on that?
Yeah. So we're here for these scheduled calls. So let me just to kind of give a little background about why we do them and why they're so important. When somebody signs up with Rideshare Drivers United, most of the time they sign up with us on the internet and oftentimes have never even spoken with another driver. Sometimes maybe they've spoken with the driver here or there, at a gas station or at the airport parking lot, but don't have any connections with other drivers, let alone any other drivers who want to help organize and get together. And when we're asking people in the future, if we want to win, if we want to raise pay and cut the commission that Uber and Lyft have, we need to have the drivers much more strongly united than they are now. And we need to have folks ready to go on strike, to take any sort of collective action that the organization decides we need to take. And what happens, I think we've found, is in order to ask somebody to go on strike or to take an action with us, we need to have a stronger relationship with them than we can do just over email or over a text message. We need to have like driver to driver relationships. It's just such a more powerful ask when somebody who you've spoken with in the past asks you, hey, can you turn off your app for 24 hours tomorrow, or can you come down to the hub to meet with us? If you've already started to build a relationship with somebody, it's just so much more powerful having the ask come from somebody who you know. So part of what these scheduled calls are for is to initiate that relationship, to have somebody who just found us on the internet have a voice and a name and an individual driver who experiences what they experience, who feels what they feel, kind of welcome them into the organization and sort of guides them towards the next step. So I think everybody here except Lynn, I think, has done phone banking for an action. You've already called other drivers, and you may have already gone to an orientation where we kind of talk about what when we have these every month or so, where we talk about what our Rideshare Drivers United's plan to win is, and how we're gonna achieve it. But with these scheduled calls, it's really about a beginning to develop that relationship and maybe get somebody to go to an orientation. And if once we start to develop that relationship, we have processes. So like if we can get somebody to an orientation, for example, at the end of that orientation, we're going to ask them if they want to become a scheduled caller, right? So what we want to do is we want to basically reproduce ourselves. Like if I go and do 100 calls, 100 scheduled calls with drivers who sign up, maybe 5 of those drivers who I had a scheduled call with are going to themselves become scheduled callers. And given the constraints around money and staff that we have as an organization, Rideshare Drivers United, we're not going to win unless we have lots and lots of drivers taking some responsibility for building our own union. So this is kind of a principal way for how we build our own union. We talk with drivers through the scheduled call process, and we get them involved in the organization, and then hopefully on to the next step where they're joining a meeting themselves, and they're maybe even becoming a scheduled caller. And I think just one.
Just
Yeah. Jawahar?
No, it's okay. Sorry.
Okay. Just one last thing I was going to say about that. Like I sort of see it as we have like strong relations. There's some people with whom we're going to have really strong relationships, and other people with whom we're going to have weak relationships. So, for example, I might have a few scheduled call, and maybe it's a 15-minute call. The guy's not super interested in coming to an orientation, or he's not going to become a scheduled caller. But the fact that we took time out to initiate that relationship and talk to him, ask him about what he wants to change in the industry, that's going to make it like infinitely more likely that they will come out in the protest or in some sort of ask that the organization makes. So even if the weaker relationships that we build with people over the scheduled calls have value. And then I think obviously the stronger relationships, we see how those have value, where maybe they will be doing scheduled calls or they'll be phone banking in the future. But every sort of phone call that we have with drivers who sign up with us, I think has value. And this is like what it actually, doing these scheduled calls is what it means to build our union. And in order to win, everything that drivers say they want, from higher pay to lower commissions to the deactivation protection, we need to have a stronger union. We need to build a stronger union. So I see these scheduled calls as being like really the principal way that we get there. I think would be my summary about how what we're doing here today and what the purpose of these scheduled calls are. And it's not just like, they're designed to be really convenient, so it works around your schedule. Lynn's set up her availability. Everybody will see that we will be very flexible around your schedule, and we'll only send you calls from drivers who schedule them with you at times when you're available, so that we can be sure that you can have time to make that call and just begin to develop a relationship with that driver. Yeah, that's how I see it. Does anybody have any questions on that, or?
Yeah, thanks, Ivan.
Clear.
Cool.
Really, I always like to explain it similar to think about it like a spider or creating a web, right? We might have one string of connection, for example, between myself and another scheduled caller that might be a little weak. But when I have multiple strings that are weak, that are attached and cross over to each other, and all of us drivers get connected through either those weak or strong bonds, we are going to be much, much stronger, because when those strings come together, the tensile strength of a spider web goes up by 10 times. And that's why it's able to support bigger creatures and able to trap them in, right? And so think of that web as our web of drivers that are connected to each other. And when we build hundreds or even thousands of these small, like lower level or mid-level connections, we can build a stronger movement that's going to support all of us above all the money that these companies have. And that's the real power that us drivers have, right? So yeah, any questions?
No, Mohammed, this is very clear, and Ivan did a great job. It was very precise. And I think once we clear our mission statement to make it known to other drivers, I think they're going to join us, because everybody is sick and tired of being slave for these companies. And I think it's about time. They're constantly making the changes, and it's amazing with the help of the AI, all the advantages is towards them. I don't understand why they do not never make a mistake in my favor. Is always in their favor. And it's very amazing. And as of yesterday, they just removed the customer helpline. Now you have to go to the app and tap and type and this to take the time off the road and talk to a representative. All those representatives that were supposed to help me with all my cancellation fee and all other fees that for the last 5 years, maybe only 5% of them got materialized. All the, as a diamond top the line or platinum, whatever it is, with Uber, they were offering $350 if my cancellation is under 2%. And I received one time 350, and they send me more communication. Just maintain it and you get another 350. So I kept doing it. The period was over. I met all the requirements that did it. It's very difficult to get $2 ride and $2.33 ride for doing 6, 7, 8 miles in the middle of the afternoon rush hours. And then when I didn't get it after 2 weeks, when I called them, somebody in another country answered the phone, and he says, "Oh, it was only for one time." I said, "Why did you get in touch with me again to do that?" He says, "Oh, it's an app mistake." Really? Really? For 90 days, you didn't discover that. And I give another, I don't know, 1,200 whatever rides I gave to just get for 350, because I was counting on that 350 bucks. And now you're telling me it was only a one-time deal? Why didn't you write it in concise and precisely on the offer that you made first time or even second time? So they lost my trust. The fact of the matter is, I used to give them a lot of my life, a lot of my time, drive for them and everything else. Now I look at the app. If it is less than $6, I ignore it. If it is more than $6, I look at it. I combine the pickup and drop off. And if it is less than $1 combined, I don't take it. If it is more than $15, I have to be very suspicious to notice that I'm going to waste all of my time in the traffic, because the lights will change, and red lights I'm talking about, or green lights. They were changed right before COVID. And now I'm spending more time at the intersection idling and worrying about somebody not stopping on time and rear-ending me. And I'm going to go pick up a passenger or drop off a passenger. All of that for like 60 cents, 50 cents, 40 cents a mile combined. Really? That's not worth it. That's not worth it. So the message that Ivan and you, Mohammed, both of you communicated is really good. We need to have our mission statement clear and precise. And I am sure once anybody, any driver, figure out, because they're not paying one driver a lot higher than the other. They're just giving the same dollar amount. And it's interesting, and Ivan, you probably can attest to that. It is so interesting that with the help of AI, they have managed it so well that you always get Prop 22. You put so many hours, you're online, active, online, all that garbage that they pulled out after the Prop 22, and now there's no way you can make money. I don't scam anybody, but I used to strategize and be able to make maximum amount of money with the least amount of time and driven miles. Now I am about to give up because whatever I do, they move the goalpost. Whatever. And I got a lot of experience in life, and it's not possible. And if I cannot make money, forgive my uh, um, um, my audacity. If I cannot make money, chances are very few people can, and that's not fair. You're supposed to be getting the minimum wage and so on and so forth. So you got my peace of mind now, so you know what I mean.
Chuck, we love the tenacity and the passion that you're bringing to this. You're saying all the right things, and I think it's going to really translate to what we're going to be talking about right now, which is right like the goals of our call. So really just going through a really easy 5 point like 5 goals of these calls, is going to be first and foremost, like we said, to connect with the driver, right? Like this spider web that we're bringing is going to be our power, and that's why we need to stay connected, right? But really, the second thing is to keep our ear to the ground and find out the issues that the driver is facing, right? Share. This gives you the opportunity to share a bit about yourself and who RDU is and who we are as an organization, right? Commiserating with your fellow drivers makes them feel heard. And I think that that is an incredibly powerful tool to help them along into to our union, right? And so sharing a bit about yourself will help them really bridge that gap, from being a acquaintance to maybe being a potential friend, right? And then we're going to be looking at, right, like what is the assessment of this driver? How supportive are they? And it's going to involve asking them about how they want to get involved in the next step, and really recording that, right? And recording the things that you learn about this person, whether they are the issues that they face, the history of this person's driving, right? Support and or other interesting things that you've learned, right? I would have never known that Chuck here is from Orange County, just like I am, and that we are pretty. We probably run in similar circles. If I didn't have a really cool call with him a few months ago. Um, and then the last thing is to invite them to join a new member orientation, right? Which I'm sure a lot of you have already gone through. I know, Ms. Lynn, you're a little bit newer to the crew, and we'd love to have you at the next new member orientation if you would like. But really, that is one of the main things that we're trying to get out of talking to these folks, is to move them along to the next step of being a volunteer for our organization, right? We're really assessing that when we're doing this. So what do we mean by like how should the call go? Here is a simple talking points that we've laid out as a structure for how your call should go. We haven't created like a specific script, and this is just a guide. So please remember that, right? Every call is going to be unique, but they should follow a similar, flow. So, starting off with talking about ourselves and who RDU is, so that we can make sure to break the ice right away. I always like to say, Hey, is this Bob? My name is Mohammed Raza, and I'm from Rideshare Drivers United. How are you doing today? Right? And then I go into talking and asking them about their backups, right? What got you into rideshare? How long have you been driving? You know, very similar opening questions to that. Then I really go into asking them about their issues or their pain points, right? What has been the issue? What have been the issues that you've been experiencing since you've been driving for X amount of time, right? Just this afternoon, I had a call with a driver who'd been only driving for a few months. But then when I asked her about the issues that she's been facing and the complaints that she's been making, she started talking about the percentage that the companies are taking. And so I figured out sort of the exact thing I needed to help to press on so that this person gets motivated to be a part of our winning team. So then we go to our next step, right? How do we win? What is the game, right? We need to lay out a plan for our drivers to get involved so that we can win, right? And telling them about RDU is one of the best ways to do it, right? So really emphasizing that collective action, right? So when I heard this person talking about a the percentage that she was mad about, you know, I started talking about how we are a network of drivers that were committed to fighting for something that's better than this. We actually had a huge protest on February 14th around demanding a 20% commission cap. And that's awesome, right? Because when we come together, we can win. I'm sorry, I heard somebody start saying something, but I'm not sure if there's a question. There's a question. You okay, Mr. Luke? Okay. Okay. So really emphasizing our collective voice is the pathway to win. And then you end it with sort of an act, right? We want you to take the next step. I want you to get more information about how we win in more detail at the next new member orientation or the next general meeting that's coming up. Yeah. And that, based on that answer, you're gonna RSVP them for that specific event, and then after the call, you're gonna do a little bit of an assessment and take some notes, right? You know, how involved was this person? How engaged was this person? You know, what were the sort of notes that you took when you asked them the question, right? Like, please make sure to be an active listener in this time, right? A few tips that you should follow. Sorry, I'll get into this in just a second. But a few tips that you should follow when doing this is that you should be listening probably 60 to 70%
I'm
of
in
the
a
time.
training and I can't hear.
Let people tell their stories because people love talking about themselves. If they don't pick up, please try 5 or 10 minutes later because since this is their first time getting a call from RDU, they might not want to pick up a random number. So it's important to either call them or leave a message or text them, letting them know it was RDU calling, and then just take a little siesta and then call them after 5 minutes. Don't be afraid to share your experiences. Like I said, please commiserate because you're also a driver. Unfortunately, sometimes you get drivers that aren't necessarily that might be a little argumentative and might not necessarily be in the same mindset that we are around our cause. So it's important for you to remember that you're not winning an argument; you're laying out a vision for the future, right? And it's up to them to accept it or not. If you hear frustration, freaking good. You got to focus that frustration on the company because that's who we are fighting. That's the enemy. It's okay not to know all of the questions that they're going to be asking. It's going to be an opportunity for you to maybe do a follow-up call or a follow-up text so that you can continue building that relationship, right? And please try not to miss these calls, right? We don't want to be like Uber customer service, giving us shit answers and not really responding to us properly. Drivers wait for these calls, right? And if you can't take this, someone can cover you, myself, or many of the people that are going to be in our group chat on WhatsApp. They can help you out. Please keep good recorded notes and record your assessment. And we recommend not maxing out more than like 3 calls a day or like 6 calls a week. It comes to be a lot. I'm doing this full time, so I do this a lot, but what can I say? But I'm gonna stop there really quickly. If you have any questions, I can answer them. But if I'm gonna wait for just a second, and if you're good, then we can go to the next slide. If you're muted, I can't hear you. Okay, copacetic. So this slide is going to be all about our assessment process, which we talked about as a post-call thing, and it's going to be your assessment of how the call went, right? Is this person going to be someone who's just a supporter who maybe hears us out, maybe like answers a call or fills out some sort of a form that we send or comes to a protest a few times, but maybe isn't someone that will want to volunteer, right? But someone like a potential core person would be someone like Ivan, right? who who has leadership potential, who wanted to get involved into the organization right as he met the people that started this organization, and then went along with it for the ride, right? So these 4 levels is what we want you to focus on. There's 2 more levels above that, which include developing leader and core. And we recommend that those aren't necessarily going to be necessary right now, because we want you to focus on these 4, which includes potential core, which is going to be the highest as of now, which includes leadership potential. Activist is going to be someone who's able to donate some time, similar to all of you guys here in the room today, right? If you are a supporter, you're someone that agrees with all of our vision, but might not want to volunteer, but they'll probably come to a protest if we ask them to, right? And if they don't demonstrate much interest, maybe they're dismissive or maybe argumentative, that person would be a disengaged person. So we might not want to talk with them if they don't support our vision. But hopefully in the future, as they keep on hearing about what we're doing and learn more about the abuse that's going on, they're going to come to our side eventually. I know it. But yeah. Any questions on the assessment?
I just had one thing. I think that the 70% listening, 30% talking that Mohammed reviewed is really important, kind of giving people space to tell us what they want to change about the industry. And the thing that I would add on top of that is it's also really important that it's a volunteer who is calling them, because I think ideally they can see themselves in your shoes, like they can see themselves making calls in the future or being like an active part of building the organization. So I typically, will at the introduction, I'll let people know that I'm a volunteer with Rideshare Drivers United, just to kind of frame it, so that, hopefully they can they see that I'm just a driver just like them, and together we're this is how we build our organization. We contribute the time that we can, and if all of us are doing it, we'll get there.
Exactly. So I wanted to take this opportunity. We're about 40 minutes in to do a quick little role play based on the thing that we just talked about. We'd love to have someone from the crowd be one of our one of the people that is a scheduled caller. One of us, maybe Ivan or I, can be the scheduled call, the caller, the person that's being called. So who would like to volunteer or be voluntold?
Mohammed, I'm just finishing my lunch, believe it or not. I've been behind the PC since 5 a.m. So just give me a couple of minutes and then I'll volunteer.
Okay, beautiful. Thanks, Chuck. So while we're waiting, I'm gonna go ahead and drop something in the chat, which is going to be a link to a WhatsApp group that is for all of our scheduled callers. And we encourage you to join that group chat so that if you need someone to cover you, you can post it in there. Hey, I have a call at X time, an X place, or an X day, and X time. And I really need help because I can't take that call. Someone or the other, like myself or anyone in this group, I'm sure would happily help you out and take on that responsibility. But yeah, I dropped it in the Zoom chat right here. So if you click on that, you'll be able to join, and you'll join our little driver caller community.
And also, related to what Mohammed has said about not needing to know everything. Like if the driver asks, what is Rideshare Drivers United working on legislation, or sometimes you hear questions that you might not know the answer to, you can also use this group chat to ask, and somebody will get back to you so that the next time we can have an answer for them.
All right, Mohammed, my last bite was finished, so if I may. So I may just continue. I'm making a phone call, and his name is Mr. Jones. Hello, Mr. Jones. My name is Chuck. I'm with RDU. And do you know what RDU is? And that's a very good thing. No, I haven't heard of RDU from the driver. And then I explain it to them, who we are.
Chuck,
I'm sorry?
Chuck, we were gonna do a little act out. I was gonna be the person that's being called, and you're gonna be the caller. So
okay. All right. I am the caller.
Yeah, you're the person that's gonna be calling me.
Oh, I see. All right. We did that with, I have done that with you previously. So, okay, that's fine. Let's go ahead and do that. So.
All right. Ring, 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 ring. Phone's ringing. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, who am I speaking to?
Chuck.
Hi, Chuck. How can I help you, sir?
Well, I am an Uber and a Lyft driver, just like you. Do you have a second that I can talk to you?
Oh yeah. I think I had something scheduled from some website that then said someone was gonna call me. So thanks for getting back to me about that, Chuck. How can I help you?
You're welcome. I just want to make sure that we're trying to unite and have one strong voice, be it in Sacramento or be it national. We want to make a big difference to increase the rideshare drivers' pay and benefits because it's been going down steadily. So I'm just wondering if you can share some of your experiences with me, if you are happy, not happy, extremely happy. How long have you been driving with Uber and Lyft? And I'd like to know.
Yeah, totally. Thanks, Chuck. I'd love to know who we is, but in terms of myself, I've been driving for a few years now. I was only doing I was doing like Instacart and delivery in the pandemic, but now I became a Uber and Lyft driver afterwards, and it's been bad, dude. I joined because they had this multiplier thing right at in the pandemic, and now it's gone for some reason, and they keep cutting our pay. Do you know anything about that? What's going on with that?
Well, I just want to say that I didn't work during the COVID personally, but I've heard it from a lot of drivers who made a tremendous amount of money during the COVID because there were not that many drivers around. Now that we have so many drivers and because of all the layoffs we have in the industries, all different segments of the industries, Google and so on and so forth, most of those people who were laid off, now they have a car. All they had to do just to register with Uber and Lyft and they're driving. And Uber and Lyft are taking advantage of this situation and they are not receiving any, or they're not noticing any attrition as far as the number of the drivers is concerned. And they don't have to pay $1,250 for a referral fee like they used to pay. Now they pay $350 if they at all. And what happens is that because supply and demand rule is always rules the market, it is a situation that is not sustainable. They are collecting more money from the from passengers, and they're holding on to 45, 50, sometimes 60%, depending on the situation. And I found myself driving so many miles every night for 2.5, 3 hours. I drive 170, 180, 200 miles, and I find out the number of the miles that I've been online been very limited because they push the passengers, they push the request so far. The next one is going to be 15 minutes between the number one and number two. And I'm driving in 15 minutes, I'm driving 25 miles. And that is, I can't sit in a corner. By the way, I found out, Mohammed, I don't know how long you've been driving, but this is what has happened. They know that in the past, when we had so many passengers, if I park near a restaurant or a theater or something like that, they give us a passenger. Now they don't give us a passenger unless we're moving. Seldom ever happens, if I'm I used to start from my house and I got 3-4 rides in a matter of a minute and I could decide which one I want to take between Uber and app. Now it's
worse than I could thought.
Yes, I just want to say that 2 weeks ago, right before this big rain that we had, I experienced, let's say, I come out at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. is the best time for people who do not have a car to go get a ride, to go home, or those who have a car, but the car is being serviced by an auto dealer, and auto dealers is scheduled to pick up, and I need to go pick him up. I mean, I am within 7, 8 miles or 10 miles of at least 15 to 20 car dealership. So I'm going back to 6 years, so I've cataloged all of these things and I know. So what I notice is that they don't give me, first of all, before I forget, interject, once it's ordered by a dealership, the chances of getting a tip is zero, because the dealers do not give any tips. I only had one Tesla passenger who says, they give me a $50 voucher and I'm going to give you a $5 tip because you're such a nice guy. And that's the only one among all these 14,000 rides. That is such a pathetic percentage. So
that's insane.
So I'm sure you experienced those things, Muhammad, as well. So I found out that now what they're doing, because they have too many drivers, requests are getting fewer and fewer. And then you go out of your destination, they take you to from here, for instance, to all the way, they take me always to end of the Orange, city of Orange. And then in the middle of the week, there is nobody at the restaurants, and there's, the business is not that, because of the recession, it's not that great. So I'm not going to get anybody back to come all the way to Irvine or Mission Viejo. So I have to sit there 45 minutes idle, do nothing. When I start driving, they start giving me rides for $2.03. How did you come up with that 3 cents?
So,
I mean,
so
I've
Chuck,
taken a
how are we
picture.
gonna fix this?
Well, we need to stay united. We need to have one vision. We need to have one mission statement. And the reason I'm calling you, Muhammad, is I want to make sure how much I can count on your vision and your contribution of time, referrals, other friends, other people you're getting gas at the gas station, you see a sticker in somebody's car. Are you willing to just go say, hi, my name is such and such, and I am a volunteer, just, many other drivers who volunteer. And would you come to our next Zoom meeting? Would you be able to come and share your views with us? Maybe you can share something with us that we can benefit from it.
Yeah, no, totally. I'd love to come, especially if I can voice my opinion and we can get some things fixed.
Absolutely.
So let's get united.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll give you some telephone numbers and connections and a website address that you can later get in touch with me or with us,
Great.
anybody. And
Thanks so much,
something,
Chuck.
Muhammad, maybe sometime I can schedule a coffee and come and meet you somewhere, and we can talk about this in person. And it's, it's the
Oh my
coffee
God.
is, we can write off the coffee also. So it's not a big deal.
I'd love to.
Ivan is laughing.
Let's do it. Coffee is my favorite thing on earth.
Yes.
Okay, great job. Let's all give a round of applause to Chuck over here for stepping
Thank
up
you.
and doing
Thank
what
you.
he
Thank you.
can.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I gotta say, Chuck, you always bring the most interesting stories and the most interesting tips to all of our conversations. And I feel like I learned something new every single time I talk to you.
I appreciate you. Thank you. It's your personality. Let me tell you something. It's the gift of the attention you gave me that I can come out and speak these things. If you were just, as a matter of formality, made a phone call to me just a couple of months ago and everything, I saw the fire, I saw the enthusiasm that you had and sincerity, and that energizes me. And we united, we stay together united, and we succeed. We conquer once we are united. So you've heard that motto before, so you know that.
Heck yeah. And that's real driver power. So great job on that. I think one really quick, improvement that I think we could make is one of the tips that we mentioned a little earlier is the sort of 70-30 or 60-40 or that sort of range.
Sure.
I think it's going to be really important to commiserate, but at the same time, make sure to let the person that is on the call sort of express their story, and then we can sort of commiserate with that story, right? Whenever I meet someone that started driving because they went to college, I always know, like, that's how I started, dude. Like, that's my ticket in, right? So that's sort of
well,
little advice.
May I interject something? And I want to say that this is not to disagree with you at all. I found out when I'm calling, and I've done this all my life, when I'm calling someone who doesn't know me, doesn't see the picture of me, doesn't know me at all, they don't want to do the talking because they're afraid they let the cat out of the bag. But when I go strongly with a sincere story that they can relate to, then they're going to open up. Maybe they don't open up on this particular situation, but if he accepts my coffee invitation and he comes, that's done. I got him enrolled, and that's all I need. But I need to tell them, if I just keep them, if somebody calls you as a cold call and asks you to tell you the story of your life or whatever, you're very shy. You don't want to because you don't know who that person is, right? We live in a very crazy world. But when I tell him all the information, I give him more than he can give me, then I have all the time to be quiet and he can do the talking and I can agree with him, to sympathize with him. And that's how the bond is made. So that's
Mhm.
my
Good point.
take on this side of it.
No, definitely some good points there, Chuck.
Yeah.
Ivan has got something to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think that that's the key, like finding what it is that's gonna allow them to open up.
Yeah.
And I think that too, like the ways that I've done hundreds and hundreds of these scheduled calls, like I usually start by asking how asking them how they like driving. And half of the time, they're going to be upset. Sometimes people say, oh, it's okay. And they focus more on the positive things. In that case, I would say, what would you change about the industry if you could change anything? Because I think you want to start getting people to think about how they've been betrayed by the company, which everybody's been screwed over by the company.
Right.
So that's kind of like, once you get them a little talking about something that agitates them and they're opening up, like that, it's going to be a good call. So
yes,
those are like the two little questions that I start with to try and get them to open up real quick.
Well, I heed to that. Thank you. Thank you. I get them. I will find a way to get them emotionally involved. Once I detect, and I'm good at it, once I detect their hot button, then I can say, oh, so you have gone through this rabbit hole before. So tell me about it and share. And then he can talk for about 5 minutes or she, and then I just say another 30 seconds. Yep. My situation is exactly the same thing. I went through this, and I can give a brief scenario with proof that they can rely on. Said, okay, Chuck is honest, so I can trust with him and do that. And during my scheduled calls a couple of weeks ago on 2 to 3 days before Valentine's Day, I made some good friends. And I don't have the schedule right now. I don't have the time right now. But once the rain stops and everything else, when the spring starts, I'm going to go out with them, have a lunch or dinner or whatever. That's very important. Who knows? Maybe one of these guys could become my best friend again. So,
yeah, love that attitude.
All right.
It looks like Eustace has his hand up.
Yep, Eustace, what's up, brother?
Yeah, well, I kind of agree with both Chuck and Ivan on how you guys are presenting. There are times when you have to give more information of yourself so that they feel a little comfortable. But I like what Ivan said with the two questions he asked. That gives them an opportunity, because they're open question, that gives them opportunity to jump in and say how they're feeling, how they are experiencing this situation, and how they want to how they could resolve it in a sense. And even if they can't give an answer how they can resolve it, that's when the person calling then can come in and say, okay, we can do this, we can do that, or we're trying to do this, or we're trying to accomplish this. Is there any way you can help? So I like that. I like both ways of going about doing that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. When I did the phone calls, one of the things that I found that was kind of like uneasy was I made a couple of calls where there was no name showing for the individual. Is that going to be the same thing with the schedule calls, or are we going to have a name?
We'll have the name for everybody.
Okay, because I did quite a bit of calls, and some of them I lost right away because I was like, I didn't know their names. And then I said, well, who are you? And then you call me, you should know who you're calling. So I think that was one of the, I did make a lot of calls that people said they were going to come to the protest, which was good. But there were some that I thought I could get, but if I had their names, I would have been able to get them. you know what I mean, get a confirmation from them. But without that name showing up, it makes it a lot difficult. So I hope that even with those kind of calls, those confirmation calls, I hope that we can somehow get those names up so we can
We'll
see
have
exactly who we're calling.
Yeah, and it'll be a little, we'll have everybody's name, and it'll be a little bit different from the phone banking that we're doing for the 14th, because we will see their name before we start the call, right? So
Okay.
we can take a look at their profile, see what services they drive for. So you are going to be the one that decides, okay, start making call. And before that, you'll be able to see their profile and check out, who this person
Okay.
is.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, wonderful. So here we are to the meat of the real meat of what we're doing today, which is setting up the app for our schedules. I'm going to hand it off to Ivan so that he can do that for us quickly. And I also want to recognize that it is 6:01. If you need to leave, please let us know. But if you can stay for 5 or 6 minutes, we can do this quickly.
Yes. So this is, if you've already downloaded the app, you actually, I should say, because if you were phone bank, Mohammed, does everybody have scheduled call permission? Did we set everybody?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you go to the app, you should see 3 tabs on the bottom: scheduled tasks, conversations, and workflows. If you may not see those, if you were doing phone banking and you weren't set up as a scheduled caller, and what you'll have to do then in that case is in the tab that you can see, there's a little, like a cog, a settings button on the top right. Just hit that, and then scroll down to the bottom and tap log out. So if you log out and then log back in, you will see all 3 tabs. From the scheduled tasks tab, once you can see that in the top right, there's a little calendar icon. And right there is where you can set your availability. I can share my screen. Never mind. But what you'll see in the schedule, once you have the calendar open, is you'll see a little slider for every day of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And you can sort of slide the hours that you're available to have a call or two, and you can mark complete days as not available. So no availability on Wednesday. Once you have it at a point that you're kind of comfortable that you can accept any calls that come in that time range, just save the settings, and you're good to go. And we'll start getting calls assigned to you soon. By tomorrow, we're going to try and get some calls to you. One last thing, if you use Google Calendar, this is optional, but if you use Google Calendar, there's a button to connect your Google Calendar at the top. And what that's going to do is it's always going to look at the availability on the sliders, on the Monday through Sunday sliders. But the Google Calendar allows for a double check. So for example, let's say Monday at 1, you're typically available, but this Monday you have a doctor's appointment. As long as you put it in your calendar, your Google Calendar, and you have it connected into the app, it's not going to double book you. But the Google Calendar is optional. If you don't use Google Calendar, don't worry about it. Is everybody able to see that availability screen, or does anybody only see the one tab?
All right, guys.
Yes,
how
sir.
much longer are we going? I got to go pick someone up, and I've been parked here for over an hour now. So, how much longer are we going?
I think we're good. We're good to go. Mohammed, do you have anything else to add?
I just wanted to show everyone the event section on the back end really quickly before y'all hop off. So I'm just gonna show you my app right here, and we can look at someone that I was speaking to, like Luke over here in our meeting here today. So you're gonna see this person's first and last name. You're gonna see that little phone icon and the text message icon. You're gonna be starting the call with that little phone icon, right? Actually, let me show you what it looks like on a scheduled call. Okay, so you're gonna be able to make this call, and as you can see, the first event on there is a new member orientation that is supposed to be for March 5th. In order to RSVP them, please press the yes button. It'll highlight, and there's going to be a text follow-up that's going to be sent right
An
under that.
email follow-up. It'll send them an email, Callum. Oh, you're talking. Well, the moment that you tap yes, there's an automatic email sent to them, and then you know, the text one happens optionally.
Right. Here's the assessment part of what we were talking about. And so, you know, over here we have Clark Prescott, and I haven't talked to them yet, but they hopefully are going to be a potential for an activist. Here's all the information about the driver themselves, what they're driving and how they're driving. Here is the notes section where you can create notes and write down any of the information you need to. And that is it.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
Ivan, I'm sorry, I don't want to take anybody's time. Ivan or Muhammad, either one of you. I scheduled the Friday call tomorrow. I went through all the settings and it says call 1 hour and it expresses the zone and everything else, but I cannot save the setting. Do I go to the next screen to accept the setting, or just here I'm supposed to? It still shows in red, bright red in the bottom of the iPhone. So
Chuck, can I ask you for a favor?
Sure.
I'm gonna make you a co-host, and why don't we end off the meeting real quick?
Sure.
And then after we say our goodbyes, maybe you could share your screen and show us what's going on.
Okay.
Because so that we can troubleshoot that better.
That's awesome.
Mohammed, I think all of them did that. Mine did that too, but Ivan said he saw mine. They are doing that. When you press the save setting, it just stays red. It blinks, it just stays red. But Ivan said he saw it, so I'm assuming he saw it.
Yeah,
Ivan, you're muted.
I think it should acknowledge that you hit save settings, but it doesn't. So
Yeah,
I'm looking on the back end. I see that Eustace. I think that everybody, like Chuck, I see that you only have availability on Friday. So you're good now if you only wanted the availability.
Yeah.
It should have that message that confirms, but it doesn't have that. That'll have to be added to that.
Good. Then that's fine. That's great.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for everyone for sitting through this meeting. This is a really important training, and hopefully you'll have some wonderful conversations with drivers coming up, inshallah. And this is the engine that helps us grow our movement on your own time. And thanks to Ivan's technology, we can make it happen. So let's go.
We're going to try, and tomorrow and the next day, we're going to send emails to people, try to stimulate new scheduled calls. And that doesn't, so if somebody schedules a call with you tomorrow, that most likely means that it's going to be at some point in the future, not tomorrow, because people usually like to schedule them out a few days. So but you might receive an email tomorrow saying, hey, you got a call scheduled for you for Tuesday next week, or whatever day you have available.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Chuck.
Thank you.
Lynn, Luke.
Thank you, everybody.
Tyler.
It's good to see everybody here, and I'm really excited to get things going and continue building our power.
Thank you very much for your contribution, gentlemen. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Likewise.
Bye-bye.
We'll talk soon, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.